Do not give up on your legal status. Many people fail to respond to RFE or file an application before the deadline. This is why we offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Not everyone qualifies. First, you need to speak with our CARES team. We receive many requests, so we recommend you answer a few questions on our website, greencardguys.com. Our mission is to help people live and work in America legally. Go ahead and subscribe below and follow and share. Talk to you soon. How y'all doing? All right, good to see y'all. All right, got some technology issues here. How y'all doing? All right, good to see y'all. Are we good now? I think we're good. Technology, for some reason, it was repeating myself. All right, welcome. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Today's topic is about AI, okay? The executive order about AI. We're good now? I think we're good. Technology, for some reason, it was repeating myself. That is weird. All right, welcome. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Today's topic is about AI. Can y'all hear that? Okay, the executive order about AI. All right, 1 second, y'all. Trying to figure out. All right, 1 second, y'all. Thanks for staying on. Let me get off this. Okay, I think that was the issue. I had something going on Instagram, the live show, and it was just repeating me. So, all right, folks, welcome to the live show today, Monday. And that usually doesn't happen. It's usually fine on Instagram. Welcome to the live show. We're going to talk about the AI executive order. Okay, I know some of y'all are not looking forward to this, but it should be helpful for y'all. Okay, especially if you have the skills and experience that can help this industry, or not really industry, because AI is going to help many different industries. Okay. So by the way, I'm here to answer any questions. You're welcome to drop it in the chat box. Sorry for those folks on Instagram. It didn't work out. It was repeating me. So let me pull up the document that can help y'all. So here, you might wonder, well, will this help me if I'm already in the US? Well, if you're already in the US and you have no status, so if you overstayed, then no, it's not going to help you, okay? Now, unless you could be eligible for a waiver, provisional family unity waiver. So even though you may get sponsored by a company, it's a long road ahead, okay? So you really want to think about that this is typically for people who essentially, just like really any kind of job that a company would sponsor you with, it's one that you're currently here on some kind of visa, non-immigrant visa. It could be student visa, J1, or you're abroad, you're outside America. This video is for you, okay? Because you want to be, if you're here in the US with a visa, and you're like, man, I really wish USCIS is going to recognize AI for the related to immigration, right? The process, because this guideline is going to be helpful to USCIS to be more comfortable to make a positive decision for you, okay? Now, essentially, ultimately, this is supposed to help the U.S. economy, right? And really encourage the Biden administration understands that it's important for the U.S. to be advanced in many different industries to diversify the U.S. economy. So one of them, of course, It's not just H-1B visa. This is supposed to help streamline for O visa and essentially also for J visa, for you to be able to change status from J or F visa to any of these new visa categories, okay? Potentially new visa category. So it's pretty wide open in that sense, all right? Because when there's an executive order, it doesn't always literally mention like, okay, USCIS, you need to do A, B, C. Is providing guidelines, all right? Essentially guidelines, so they know, so the agency knows what to do, okay? Let's see if I can pull up the actual executive order on this for y'all, because I know that I always like to share the data. Let me see if I can find it real quick. All righty. All right, in the meantime, all right, there we go. There we go, found it. So, gonna scroll through this. So, let me move this out. There we go. All right, you can continue asking questions. I will get to it soon, but here it is at the top. This is the fact sheet from President Biden issues executive order. So yes, this is January 8th, 2024, but this document is from October 30th, 2023. All right, the executive order on safe, secure, and trustworthy artificial intelligence. So just gonna scroll through here for this for y'all. Of course, this executive order is not specific to immigration only. This is pretty broad, you know, protecting privacy, things like that. Well, they even have a section about advancing equity and civil rights, so that's good. They have a section about the responsible use of AI in healthcare and development of affordable life-saving drugs. So why is this helpful? Why am I even sharing this and going through this? Because this is essentially a highlight of certain industries that the US government, the Biden administration, and hopefully future administrations care about, right? So healthcare, all right? So, you know, even mentions, but AI is changing America's jobs and workplaces, offering both the promise of improved productivity, but also the dangers of increased workplace surveillance, bias, and job displacement. So those are real concerns. So it's also advising the agency to produce a report on AI's potential labor market impacts. So hopefully they actually come up with that report. Let's see, let's scroll down here. Expand grants for AI research in vital areas like healthcare and climate change. So essentially, this is the first blueprint, okay, for y'all, especially if you have, again, experience, work experience, your education, your internships, anything, any kind of experience, not necessarily one that you got paid for, but clinical experience that can help you utilize this initial blueprint. All right. So that if, you know, especially if you're in a school, you're like, I'm thinking about this way or that way. Well, take a look at this document. Okay. We're going to find a way to link it up for y'all so you can access it. Let me see. I forgot to share the screen again. There you go. But essentially is to tell the agency, US, also US Immigration, any other agency to pick up the pace, essentially really think about how AI can assist. All right. So that's one of them right there. All right. So the other thing about this is that it's going to help. It's allegedly going to help speed up the processing. All right. The processing of these, let's see, let me pull it up here as well. Speed up the processing of cases for the visa issuance. And that's where a lot of people have gotten hung up on with the especially like, for example, H-1B, you have to generally pick up the H-1B visa abroad, but they have a pilot program, not specific to just AI, but pilot program, at least for H-1B renewals, to have that done in America. So this is just one way that can make it easier for people so they don't have to travel abroad. And it's just ridiculous because, especially during the pandemic, but it's still going on, some people are stuck abroad, even though they already had the visa before, they've already been in the US before, so they've already gone through rigorous screening of their background, right? Because they always claim, US Department or visa officers always want to claim that, oh, you're in administrative processing, and any email you get back from them is all about background check, undergoing background check. And it's super frustrating. You might think, well, haven't you already run my background? It's been a year. So they also need to find a way, if there's something that you can do, help streamline that in terms of AI, more power to you. Or maybe you don't have anything to do about AI on that. But that's the thing. Maybe the US government doesn't care to streamline that, make it easier. We don't know for sure. So anyways, there are visa options for you. O visa, even a national interest waiver for residency, we call EB. Yeah, you can consider that, especially for the AI field. Okay, I mean it's always been open for any other, basically pretty open and broad. But if you have some kind of experience in education behind AI, you want to harness it and use it for one of these visa options or employment based. Okay, don't be shy. So, of course, when you talk to a lawyer, no lawyer can guarantee and say, "Oh yeah, this is great. Yeah, this idea is great." And okay, it's going to be a shoe-in. No lawyer, we're not allowed to guarantee. Um, but if we have seen it, um, I mean, we have not, the AI is a whole new thing, right? But especially when there's an order about this, executive order behind this to support it, then we know the U.S. government is already looking at it. All right. So anyway, this executive orders also help to make it easier to change jobs and switch employers, especially when there's been a whole issue of layoffs last year, 2023. I think it started in January 2023, unfortunately. So it's continued throughout the year. All right. So let me go ahead and answer some questions now. All righty. So I see some items here. Tony, welcome back. Happy Monday to you, sir. Anu, are you still on? Good evening. I think you're in India, right? Why is EB3 now non-skilled Mexico not backed up like in India? It's just based on numbers. Not as many people apply for EB from Mexico. So that's really the short sweet of it. All right, Anu, hope you're doing well. Let me switch over to TikTok. Does marriage, oh shoot, I missed that one. I think I found it now. Does marriage with an active duty military member advance your case? Marriages with, the first thing that comes to mind when someone says military member, that's parole in place. And parole in place is a benefit for people who have entered America without documents, okay, illegally, right? And the reason why is because it basically is an exception to the admissibility to enter, because the default rule is that you have to enter with a visa. Okay, so military parole in place, but if you're asking about does having a military spouse just speed up the case in general? No, it does not, unfortunately. Thank you for asking, and thank you for your service if that's you. Now, let's see. All good. Y'all are welcome to ask questions about anything related to immigration. It does not have to be about AI only, but hopefully it's about immigration. Let's see. How are you, Karen? I see your question. Yeah, you can. You can ask a question even if you're currently in the U.S. Santos, happy Monday to you. All right. On TikTok M&D, you have 10 years green card. You lost the card and you filed the I-90 until now. It's not coming. It's been almost a year. So yeah, M&D, I'm sorry to hear that. There's been a lot of people that have inquired similar to you and have talked about how even 2 years. We've received comments that have been 2 years still pending. So I would definitely say if it's been 2 years, yours is 1 year, but if it's been 2 years, you definitely want to file a lawsuit, okay? But 1 year, I wouldn't file yet, okay? A bit early, unfortunately. But if you're needing to travel, right? If you're in a situation where you need to travel and you're a resident, you need to obtain the 551 stamp at the local field office. And I highly encourage you just not show up randomly. You need to call into the USCIS hotline. All right, it's very important. Okay, because that's the new process from about at least a year ago. Is they have to call in, schedule an appointment. The old way, and I think they still call it InfoPass appointment. But basically, when you call in, they're going to ask you, what's your purpose? Like, why are you calling? You want the stamp so that, especially if you want to travel. And even if you're not thinking to travel, just go ahead and get it done, because USCIS takes a long time. And who knows, you might get in a situation like, oh shoot, I need to travel next week. And when you call in the hotline, they might not have an availability before your intended travel date. So just go ahead. If you lost your card, go ahead and get that done. Yes, Karen, welcome to Right Here. And by the way, folks, especially on YouTube, Facebook, any of these comments, I think can be shown again. So if anyone's a bit shy, don't worry, you can always call in. You can see the phone number right here, or go to a website, greencardguys.com, click on the contact us. You want to access we do offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost, and you get pre-qualified for it, okay, by a CARES team specialist. Whoever you talk to first, our team members are not an attorney, so they can't answer legal questions. I do provide them some leeway to answer some, so please don't get frustrated if they don't answer your legal question, because that's essentially what the conversation with the attorney is for. But anyways, we are located in Houston, Texas. Thanks for the question. We have a physical office. We're not one of those virtual lawyers. I know some people promote virtual, but that's great. I mean, most of us work remotely, but we do have a physical office. I do meet clients and anyone who inquires for a strategy session in person. Thank you so much for asking. All right, Karen, you're from Russia. You entered August 2019. And you're saying, due to Donald Trump, coronavirus, vandalism of court buildings, and regarding George Floyd, and due to, a lot of reasons, due to a hurricane in Louisiana, your hearings were postponed several times, and your stay in detention lasted 19 months. Oh my goodness. Thanks for the context there. And so I'll wait for your question. In the meantime, I'm going to switch over. Thanks so much for your trust. Let's see. I'm happy to answer your questions here. I'm going to try to answer as many as I can in about like 10 more minutes on this live show. Please know I go live. Try my best depending on the situation, but I know Thursday I can't go live because I have a court hearing at 1 o'clock. But you can always ask the next day. All right, Karen, your question. I think you asked it. Let's see here. You were released in March 2021 from ICE, 6 days before your birthday. Okay, you received a denial of your appeal. Okay, so even though you're still here, you received a denial appeal. Did that go to the Board of Immigration Appeals? Appeals are tough. I don't know if I can help you on this live show regarding your case, but if you have a question about it, the thing is, like, since you already filed an appeal and you already got a decision on appeal, I don't know how soon you got that decision, but it might be too late to take it up to the next step. Okay. Depending on scenario, we could refile a new case, but your case involved immigration proceedings, removal proceedings. So of course, much more complex. You can't write the whole thing. Yeah, I think they limit the characters. It might be better, Karen, that you try to get pre-qualified for a consultation, share any documents you can on our forum, and we'll see if we can help you. But it's good, just based on what you shared so far. It's probably going to be difficult. It's going to be complex. We're happy to look at it. Okay, thanks, Karen. All right, on switch over to TikTok here. Can employer sponsor you for green card if you're on a visitor visa? Yeah, you can start, the employer can start the process. Okay. If you want to get sponsored by a company, but you're here currently on a visitor visa, that's great to have connections, meet people, meet companies for interview. But essentially, the process is not going to be done that quickly now because you're talking about green card. So the green card process for employment base, it generally takes about 2 years, depending on your country of nationality, like China. If you're from China or India, that's usually backed up at least several years, even after the I-140s approved. Okay, and you're abroad. So yeah, visitor visa, usually the max is 6 months, I believe, authorized stay on I-94. So you're not going to get it done that quickly unless you apply for a non-immigrant visa. So that's what I would say. If your goal is to stay here for now, then you should start a non-immigrant visa first. Okay, because that can be processed faster. On some of the visa types, they do allow for premium processing. You have to pay 2,500 more, so it is definitely a premium on top. Okay, and that's paid directly to the government. That is not for the law firm. That's different. All right, hopefully that helps. Let me pin Navdeep. All right, Navdeep, can you apply for citizenship if you have only the 551 stamp and passport? You never actually got the card. I guess you never decided to travel. So that's interesting. Well, how long has it been? Um, as long as you have proof that you're a resident, and you could try to file the N400 and see if they technically a policy manual says you have to have the card. I don't even know if they actually phrase it as the card, but at least have the valid status, right? So depending on your situation, because some people have the 10-year card and it's been past 10 years and didn't renew it, then that's for sure. I recommend for those people to at least apply for I-90. But depending on the field office, some field offices don't actually care to ask, all right, in terms of valid, but it's on the form too. So, but some field office, yeah, they're okay without it. But it sounds like yours could be currently valid. You just don't have the card. Karen, your question related to the detention center, the removal proceedings. You have 90 days to make another appeal. Yeah, I have to take a look, but I don't know how recent your situation is. Right. Well, normally the default is actually 30 days. So I don't know where you're getting these dates from or where that other attorney is getting it from. 30, 60, 60, 90. It's really 30 days, but it sounds like you already filed your appeal, Karen, right? Because you got somewhere you said earlier you received a denial of your appeal. So the next step usually after that is to the circuit court. Okay, that's the next level after the Board of Immigration Appeal. But maybe you're not at the Board of Immigration Appeal. Maybe you just completed your immigration court case, but it doesn't sound like it because I think you said something about 2021. All right, so yeah, this is definitely a situation you should fill out our form on our website, greencardguys.com, answer a few questions, and upload any documents you'd like us to take a look. Okay, but I imagine so anyone that wants like more than 15 minutes, really highly recommend you pay for that, and you can go to our website to see it. But because on TikTok I can't mention the fees on the live show. But if anyone tells you, yeah, typically anything over related to court case typically needs it, especially when there's prior history. That's already final order will probably take more than 15 minutes. Okay, and but to address Karen's other comment here, if anyone tells you not to worry, like kind of straight off the bat like that, that's not a good thing. And maybe that attorney, even pro bono or not, may have said it because they're like, you're here in America already, even though you don't have status, you're here, you get freedom to some extent. So, but you don't have status at the end of the day. So, yeah, I mean, so for anyone that's that could hear that kind of phrase, you definitely want to pick up your bags and talk to another lawyer ASAP. Do not wait. So sorry, Karen, that you had this kind of situation. But so that's why for us, me personally, and my team, I always advise my team and trying to train them, hey, please share your screen when you get a chance, depending on situation, to show proof of what we're talking about, right? I don't just like to, what's it called? Just say, hey, this is what it is and good luck. Like if there's a way we can share proof of it, like I do on YouTube and Facebook or these channels, I would love to do that. Let's see. I'm pinning some couple comments here. Man on TikTok says your CAC portal says you did a search on the CAC portal but did not return your data. Make sure you're putting the actual NVC case number and not the invoice number. That's the only tip I can give you right now. How long does I-130 process? Well, it depends if the person you're filing for is a family preference category or an immediate relative category, and if the person is the beneficiary, foreign national, is here in the United States. So generally, at least in 2023 data, because we're here now in 2024, I've been mentioning a lot of related processing times last year that if you're here in the US, the foreign nationals in the United States in its immediate relative category, then it's going to generally take about 3 to 5 months on average if it's a marriage case. Now, if it's family, if you're abroad and it's a marriage case, it's going to take double, triple the time. Okay. At least it's difficult to say start to finish. Okay. But if you're only saying petition only and you're the foreign nationals abroad, minimum 12 months. Hey, if you get the petition done earlier, great. But generally 12 months if you're outside. Now, if you're talking about family preference, meaning different family member relationship, let's say like a brother, sister, sibling category, the petition itself could take like 2 years or something minimum. Okay. Again, if it takes shorter amount of time, wonderful. But generally, the longer it takes petition wise to be approved is actually better for you, especially if who you filed for, let's say you filed for your brother and your brother maybe not have children now, but in the future, or let's say they do have children now. The way the CSPA calculation works, the formula, the Child Status Protection Act, the longer the petition is pending, the better for your niece and nephew. Okay. So hopefully that helps the explanation without sharing the formula right now on the spot. Let's see. Someone asked about U visa. Hi for the okay. Let me go back to the other one later. Can F1 visa apply for work authorization? Yes, but it's very limited. I believe it's 20 limit to 20 hours per week. So think of it basically kind of like an internship essentially. Or like a what do you call it? On campus job. You can do that. I believe it's 20 hours. We don't handle that. I think you just do that directly with your school. Someone asked about U visa. Let me see if I can find that question. What you mentioned about police report. There it is. I found it. Police report. You have one. And what else is needed for U visa? It's a lot of documents. So if you're not familiar, U visa, for those folks who are not familiar, U visa is for basically you're a victim of a crime. So, for example, we had a situation where someone signed up and they got hit by a car. Sometimes, the default people think about is like, oh, personal injury accident case. So you hire a personal injury lawyer. Now, there have been scenarios where the police will actually make a report for the purpose of sending it to a district attorney for criminal prosecution. But generally, when it's only an accident, like a car accident only, and I'm just sharing an example here, then it likely will not be enough for a criminal charge. When there's some kind of injury, there's usually some kind of criminal charge. So With that being said, an example, whether it's by abuse or like an accident and you got hurt, medical documents are helpful. But even then, I know some people who were hurt, but then there was no criminal charge. And we can't, unfortunately, cannot force the district attorney or even the police department to take on the case. But if you have the resources to advocate that, then you should do it, right? But unless you're paying your attorney to help you with that part, that's on your own. And most attorneys don't help with that advocacy part in terms of like encouraging DA to take on a case like that. But anyway, in terms of evidence, that's part of it, like an injury report, essentially medical records. Even your passport, we have to copy every single page of your passport, not just the identification page. It's kind of strange, but I can understand why. All right, on TikTok, how long is processing for EB3 healthcare workers? It doesn't show process time specific only to healthcare workers, but EB3, which country are you from or are you national of? Generally 2 to 3 years. Okay, well, 2 years minimum. Just the whole process, so many steps involved. Which, if you're interested, folks, if you go to our website, greencardguys.com, you can scroll down. We have free guides that share information on the estimated processing time and a step-by-step, okay? Now, keep in mind, whatever you download might not actually be what you qualify for, but it's there. Okay, we have one for family-based, and one for employment-based in general, and one for mandamus, okay? So there it is. You can see on the screen right there, at least on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, you can see that we have different options, even for investors as well. So you can go to our website on that to download it, okay? Or you can always schedule a time, give us a call, and we'll try our best to email to you. All right, let's see. I'm going to thank you so much for your questions. We do offer, if you're just now joining, welcome to greencardguys.tv. I'm your host, immigration attorney John Ting. We practice all over the world. We accept clients all over the world. Does not matter where you live. Happy to help you. Babe, I love, if that's how I pronounce it. What is faster way to do petition for your son, your green card holder, your USC spouse do it for you? So is your son, the first question is your son under 18? You can file for your son when under 21, but the relationship, your marriage, the step-parent relationship has to be created before your son turns 18, okay? So if that's the case, then the stepfather, your husband, can file for your son. And yes, that would be faster, okay? Someone asked about option for revoked tourist visa at LAX. Appreciate the citation here. I can't search it right here off the top of my head. I do memorize some things about the law, like numbers, citations, but not this particular one. So we would have to look back at your, I think they call it sworn statement with your customs officer. I'm assuming on secondary or deferred inspection. You need to have that, okay, so that whichever lawyer you talk to can review it. Because the situation people get the tourist visa revoked is not necessarily like what people may think about, like overstay, but when customs officer ask, oh, what were you doing in America last time? I see you were just here last week or 3 months ago. And if you helped a friend, a family member at their workplace, and you want to tell the truth, but if you don't want the office, and even if you didn't get money from this, right? You didn't get wages, you were just helping out. You don't want a customs officer to think that instead of money, that they gave you in exchange a place to stay. And because even then they could use that against you, even though you didn't get physical money or even a direct deposit. So you really have to be careful. If that truly happened, you helped a family member or friend at their workplace, you really want them to know it's pure volunteering, okay? Purely volunteering, all right? And you did not get lodging because you're working. So that's the first thing that comes to mind when you mentioned about revoked tourist visa. But maybe your situation is different. So folks, that's why this live show, it's just generalized information. I have to say disclaimers here, right? Because of State Bar, they want us to make disclaimers that this is general information. If you want specific advice, you want to speak to a lawyer one-on-one. Immigration lawyer, folks. Okay, please talk to immigration lawyer. If you see on their website that they handle other stuff that's not related to immigration, I'm not saying that's wrong or anything, but if you're relying, think of it as like a doctor, right? You're not going to send your kid who needs to see a pediatrics doctor, that's because that's a specialization, to go see a general primary physician doctor. That doesn't make sense. Even for like dentists, dental work, there's dentists who specialize in pediatrics for children. Same thing for immigration or the law. I don't think you would want to go to a criminal defense lawyer who that's maybe even at 50% what they handle. Because with immigration, even you see on my YouTube channel or TikTok, wherever we post it, you see there's weekly news and updates related to immigration because it's literally happening every week, if not every day, about immigration. So off my soapbox there. All right. Richard on YouTube asked, how long does it take to get EAD card? It's been 11 months after you fought for renewal. Yeah, sometimes those take a long time, unfortunately. EAD, what's your basis? You have TPS, DACA, or something else? Adjustment of status. If it's adjustment of status, you should have it valid for at least 2 years. I believe they changed that about sometime last year. Let's see. Okay, I think I answered this question already. Let's go to another one. Excuse my burp if you heard that. Just got to be real with y'all. Thanks, Karen. Appreciate it. Thanks for filling out the form. Hope we can help you out. Or even point you in the right direction. Let's see. Your spouse and you don't have social media like Insta or Facebook. Would that look bad when filing for green card? No. It's okay. You don't have to have social media to portray, convey to USCIS officer or prove to the officer that you have a real, genuine, bona fide marriage, okay? Social media is not required. I mean, if clients don't have like traditional photos, like on their phone or something that they can't upload to us for some reason, and you have it on Instagram or you have Facebook, anything like that, where we can screenshot it or y'all can screenshot it, then we encourage to receive that as evidence, okay? But if you don't have social media, that's okay. That's okay. And more power to you, other than TikTok, I guess. But I guess TikTok, it's a little bit more difficult to, you can post photos, but I guess that's kind of like a story. It can go away or disappear. All right. Let's see here. But to prove bona fide marriage, one of the top most important documents is a joint bank account, okay? And you do not have to have you don't have to join every single bank account together. All right, so keep that in mind. Let's see. Let's see. Richard, you ask, you're not in remote proceedings. Can you travel with advanced parole with pending VAWA in 45? My general answer is yes, but yes, you have to have advanced parole approved and still valid at the time of entry. Time of departure and entry to return. Okay. Now, if you have filed for asylum before application 589, and you still have that active as a case, you definitely don't want to travel to your country of nationality that you've applied for the asylum as well, even though you mentioned VAWA, because some people have more than one application on file. So just want to mention that. And also, if you have any arrest or crimes, you really want to talk to a lawyer one-on-one about that as well. All right. Pilar, I see you've commented multiple times here. Appreciate it. But don't worry, we'll get to your comments. We just have to scroll through here. Thanks for the roses, by the way, folks. Really appreciate it. It means a lot to me, at least, in our marketing team. It's been 2 years since you applied for. I don't know what you applied for. You haven't got. Okay, is it marriage based or 2 years though? If it's marriage based in 2 years and your spouse is a U.S. citizen, 2 years is a long time, and we actually receive many inquiries about that in terms of wanting to file a mandamus lawsuit. And 2 years is definitely the right time, minimum, or not minimum, but at least 16 months to have a conversation, 16, 18 months to have a conversation. When it's marriage based and your spouse is U.S. citizen, let's talk about mandamus lawsuit, okay? That's what you can do. But some people might think that applying for residency, 485 application, assuming you're here in the U.S., okay, that includes the work permit. You can, and in fact, if you're waiting for the work permit itself, the EAD, you need to apply for that form 765. So I don't want to assume you did or you did not, but some people have asked that question as well, and assume that you didn't have to file that also. And so that's the thing about the USCIS website, folks. It does a pretty decent job of sharing information. But it doesn't tell you every single form that you have to apply for, which is strange. You would think that they do tell you that if you're in a certain situation or what you're doing. We're actually trying to improve our own website so you can find, like if you want to type in like your experience or something, work experience, and what you're trying to accomplish. We're trying to figure that out in the next couple months to make it easier for y'all on our website. Stay tuned. But Pilar, I don't know if you have a follow-up comment, but yeah, let it verify with us on TikTok what you actually applied for, or what's the relationship. Is that family-based or marriage, U.S. citizen? Just want to answer this question. Someone just asked if we can go to dinner. I'm married, so I can't, but always happy to chat if it's during the day. You guys are funny. Appreciate it. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, Maria, thanks for pinning that one. Is there a waiver for misrepresentation? How long does it take if yes? Okay, so yes, there is a waiver for that form, 601 form for misrepresentation. Okay, now consider misrepresentation also, they call it fraud or misrepresentation, but also essentially includes situations where you omitted information, okay, that you didn't share information at all. And that fact that was missing would have been really necessary to issue a proper decision. Okay. Now keep in mind, and how long does it take? I think you asked. Generally 12 months, but I know when I checked last time, I'm processing time schedule, if I can find it here. Let me see if I can find it. 601. So let me share my screen. Now, you're on TikTok asking this, but let me share my screen on Facebook and YouTube so y'all know how to look for it as well. Okay, so I Google search processing time. Ew, that's weird how it looks like that. Okay. All right, so select the form 601. For some reason, when I click on the drop-down menu, it doesn't show you. Then I select the form category. There's only one, waiver of grounds of inadmissibility. And I'm just going to select the Nebraska Service Center for this. Yeah, that's what I thought I saw. 22.5 months. Okay. This is the Nebraska Service Center. This is different than a 601A form. That shows 44 months in general. Keep in mind down below, you can enter your receipt date here and click on get inquiry date. I think it'll pop up blue after you put in a date here. But if I'm answering this question for Val Nana on TikTok, if you have your receipt date, I can punch it in here. But let me just put in 2021. Okay, January 1st, 2021. Click on get inquiry date. Okay, it's taking a. So this happened, folks. Like I clicked on get inquiry date and it's not processing. So don't be discouraged. You want to try again later, but based on what they have here, 22.5 months, it's almost 2 years. So it should, for a fake date here, 1/1/2021. This is the receipt date on your 797 not application, but your receipt notice. You click on this, it's supposed to pop up like that you're ready to file or ready to submit inquiry, or you still have to wait. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Actually, it did pop something up. It says, they kind of rephrase it here. It says, you can send us questions about your case by submitting service requests online. And it had a little hyperlink there. Okay, so just sharing this because you don't need to talk to a lawyer about how to submit inquiry. That's how that just share with you. I do think I have a video about it on YouTube and all these different channels. So take a look. Okay. Yes, Tony, I am a Cowboys fan for sure. Ride and die Cowboys. And I can't, even though Texans just made the playoffs this past weekend, as much as I'm happy for them, I cannot stray away from the Cowboys. And Tony, I'm assuming you're a 49ers fan. Is that true? All right. Good afternoon, Bachar. Good to see you. Richard asked a follow-up on this related to misrepresentation. How does one know if they committed misrepresentation or not? I mean, I hope you know if you told the truth, but there are some times where people apply for a visitor visa or some kind of non-immigrant visa. Some people have hired a community person, in America, we call it notario, notary, a paralegal that doesn't work for a law office anymore. Sometimes some incorrect information gets in there or omitted information. The most common situation where people apply for a visitor visa and everyone claims to me that they didn't know about it until maybe later is that, oh, so-and-so marked married, but you weren't actually married in real life. Or you were seeing that person, like, dating, but you weren't married to that person. Because generally speaking, when you apply for a visitor visa, it would probably certainly help a visa officer to make a decision if you're in terms of issuing a visitor visa, if you're married to someone in your country, right? Or married to someone who's not a U.S. citizen or not a resident status holder from America. But yeah, it's just not worth it. Okay, not worth lying about that. But you can apply for the waiver 601. All right. Hot tip for folks who do need to apply for 601 for misrepresentation or fraud, you actually need to admit that you did have wrongdoing. Okay. Now, they don't want a sob story necessarily, unless you really do have a situation you want to share more information. But we've had clients be adamant, and instructions actually tell you have to admit it, essentially. I'm just paraphrasing here. But we've had a couple clients I think it was maybe just one, but they were like, they sent an RFE. Fortunately, they didn't deny it, but saying like, hey, you didn't acknowledge your misrepresentation. You have to admit it. That's how we waive it. Okay, so if you don't admit it, they're not going to waive it. So hopefully that helps. Cost to file VAWA, we do, just like any case, we generally we have 3 service plans for anyone who wants to sign up with us. We greatly appreciate your trust. But Marky give us a call or schedule a pre-qualification meeting with our CARES team specialists, and they're happy to share with you. Okay. We don't like to hide the ball, because if it's outside your budget, I mean, hope it's not, but if it's outside your budget, we don't want you to waste time with talking with more and more team members. Just try to save you all some time. And there's also a lot of, there's a lot of nonprofits out there, but keep in mind, a lot of these nonprofit immigration specific services, it's hard to tell online if that organization is like legit. They may be legit in terms of, on one level, of having a US IRS tax ID number, but they might not be as legit in terms of, I guess you can say, productivity. They might not have a lawyer on hand at a certain time of the year, because they're more, I hate to say it this way, more power to them to try to help people, but they may be like more mom and pop, okay, in that sense. Because I truly try my best to be available to mentor other attorneys, and I've been told sometimes where there's a couple of lawyers that work for a small mom and pop nonprofit, and they're like, yeah, it's bad news bears. So if you need assistance to figure out if they're legit or not in that sense, then let us know. Ask us. Is it possible to get a work permit as a Canadian citizen? If you like, TN visa comes to mind first in terms of non-immigrant visa for Canadians and Mexican nationals, but not any type of job qualifies for TN visa. The more like open or more broad type of job is management consultant, but most of the other ones are related to science. Not all of them, but most of them. You can go to our website and we have a long list of it according to the immigration code. Okay. Motion to terminate removal proceedings. Maybe you had a prior comment related to that statement there, like how to get that done. What's your question related to? Let me see if I can find your other comment. You have different characters in your name that I don't know how to pronounce. So, but if you're wondering how to file a motion to terminate removal proceedings, the first step is try to get your the Department of Homeland Security, the government attorneys, to join your motion to terminate. Okay, it's always stronger in that sense, but is it required? No, it's not. But especially if you have a removal order in the past, it's certainly stronger to have Department of Homeland Security attorney join it, which is the first step. The second step and final one related to court is to actually, excuse me, I was about to burp in here, to actually file that formal motion to court. Okay. Cuca do Rosario, sorry, mispronounced your name. You provided all the proof, such as pictures, bank account, everything. You still got denied. What is going on? All right. Well, did you have an interview, Cuca? Messages. Okay. I'm kind of interested in what happened in your situation. Not kind of. I am interested in your situation, because you have bank statement. But that's the thing, folks. Shared bank account by itself is not the shoe-in, but that's the first thing to really look at. And so, like, when I go to have I just had an interview in Dallas, last week, and my married couple clients were great. They had a huge stack of stuff, and they were organized. They had everything tabbed by category. I said, I appreciate it, but let's take it section by section. And sure enough, they only, and we just got approved the next day, less than 24 hours later. So shout out to the team on that. But we didn't share everything, right? Because the officer didn't need to see everything. So that kind of gives you an idea. But the first thing we sent updated was joint bank account. Let's see. Can I talk about non-citizen serving in the military? In the pathway to citizenship or residency. Thanks for asking the question, Mr. Jimmy. And I don't know if you're currently serving in the military, but if you are, thank you for your service, or at least thank you for your consideration to join, because I know that's a difficult decision. That changes very often, or when the president changes, so I need to take a look at that. for you. Okay, so stay tuned, Jimmy, and anyone else who's interested in joining military, but maybe only want to join if there's actually a pathway. But the reverse is if you are married or consider to marry someone, and I guess you can say, quote unquote, you strike some luck and that your spouse is in the military and that person's a citizen or a resident holder, then that's possibly you could qualify for military parole in place. And that's one way you can get residency. All right, so stay tuned. Follow the channel. If you want to follow for more, follow up here. If you're on TikTok or down below, sometimes it pops up if you're on a live show down below. Let's see here. You guys are great. Really appreciate all the questions. Trying to answer as many as I can, but I should have been off 30 minutes ago. So I'll ask one more question. But before I get there, please know I do answer our premier team of associates and our CARES team specialists who are not lawyers, but they're trained to know as much as possible that you can talk to them. Okay. And the best way is give us a call. TikTok, you can't see it, but the phone number is up here on Facebook and YouTube. Or you go to our website, greencardguys.com. We do offer a strategy session for 15 minutes at no cost to you. Now, you do have to pre-qualify for that from our CARES team specialist. And let's see. Hope we can guide you in the right direction, point you in the right direction, if anything. Lucas, what's going on? I think I remember your interview is coming up soon in Beantown. Oops, wrong one. Should you bring your select service card to interview? I don't remember if this interview is for yourself or as a beneficiary or for your spouse, but it's not usually a piece of evidence that we need to provide unless, but I think this is for residency, right? This is not for some reason I thought you were the U.S. citizen, but if it's for trying to understand your the perspective. It's about showing some kind of proof that, it's just usually a question, select service card to show that you registered for the draft, essentially. That's for the, not draft, but, potential draft, I guess. That's typically for N400 application. So if you mean select service in terms of like showing proof that you were in the military, then the DD, what's your military ID? I think DD 214, I believe, something like that. Let's see here. A lot of great questions. Lucas, more power to you. Wish you all the best in your interview. That's this week. Okay. Really love the questions. I really want to see if I can answer another one. This one's a bit interesting, I think. All right. Your GC says you're a PR since 2022. Okay, you're permanent resident. You're getting married in February. Okay, wish you the best. Early congrats to you. We'll wait for citizenship. Be 3 years after. We'll wait. Oh, to file for your spouse? Well, if you got your so people have this like scenario, this kind of question. Maybe you became a resident because of a spouse. If you that's how you got your own residency before, then you have to wait 5 years to be a resident, or maybe you got it through non-spouse pathway originally, then you had to wait 5 years, right? Even if you did get married originally through a U.S. citizen or permanent resident spouse. Because you say 2022, then you need to tack on another 5 years to that. So that'd be 2027 in general. But as a permanent resident, you can file and sponsor your own spouse. But keep in mind, it's not a shoe-in. A lot of people that, or shoe-in in terms of like process quickly, it's more of a process quickly if the sponsor is a U.S. citizen, okay? So yes, residents can file for spouse, but that's the F2A category. On a family preference, you can look at the visa bulletin related to that. And last time I checked last month, there's about a 2-year delay on that. So if you're a foreign national or your spouse is in the U.S. right now, the I would just hold off on filing a different form. You can file a petition now, but don't file the 485 application quite yet. Now, there's a key hot tip here, folks. I know some people get tired of hearing that, but because everything I share is really important, I think. But disclaimer: it's all information. You want to get advice 101. You need to immigration advice for your own case. You need to speak to immigration lawyer 101. But the key difference in terms of why one person should essentially upgrade status from resident to become a U.S. citizen is because when you sponsor a spouse and you're a resident, it does not waive the unlawful presence, okay? In terms of, or it does not waive essentially unlawful presence. Now, when you become a U.S. citizen, then it does waive it. So you can file a petition now, but I wouldn't file the 485 application right now. Okay, because let's say you do get an interview sooner than you thought, then you're most likely going to get denied. Okay, so want to share that because some people haven't filed it, and maybe I can save you all some money for now, some heartache. You did not pass the citizenship test. Will they reschedule? So we have resources on that. You don't even have to be a client for us to share resources on that. Tune in, okay, or DM us, give us your email. But yes, they will reschedule you. You get a max 2 times to try the test. Now, there's no set timing for them to reschedule you, like 1 month later, 2 months later. But good luck to you, okay? We do have resources if you need it. All right, one more question. I appreciate it. Last for today's show is on YouTube. N400 decision timeframe after interview. So we do file lawsuits when it takes more than 120 days and still no decision on an N400. We don't do that after 4 months for like people applying for residency because it's just a different case type. But I mean, for us, generally, I'm not saying that you have to have a lawyer, but for us, in terms of getting decision faster with the N400, but it's been for us like within a week or less. Fortunately, knock on wood, it hasn't taken longer than that. Yeah, I was trying to answer your question. So hopefully that helps. Usually a week, but if yours taking longer than that, it's been 120 days. So the policy manual does state that it's been 120 days after your interview, you still have not received a decision. You are authorized to sue, but you have to hire a lawyer for that, okay? So, one right here, Ting Law Group is happy to help for a situation like that. In all other cases, there is no specific timeline, but for this N400 and you're still waiting, you had the interview, sounds like, right? And you're still waiting, it's past 120 days, even if it's been 121 days, you can file a lawsuit. Yes, it's very unfortunate. You got to pay more money, pay attorney fee. You got to pay for a court filing fee. But look, especially you might wonder like, why can't I just wait? Because a lot of people continue waiting, thinking that USCIS, it's been like 6 months now. USCIS, just any day now, they're going to make a decision, regardless of what you apply for. I wouldn't go in with that kind of mindset because, unfortunately, USCIS has a very long history, including State Department, to delay a decision. And I think part of it is really just inefficiencies, because a lot of people do get approved pretty quickly, like our own clients, like within a week. But especially, I don't know if it's necessarily because they don't see a lawyer on your application. I don't think it's necessarily that, but because I don't like to make those kind of guarantees that, you hire a lawyer, you're going to get to file your initial case, you're going to get a decision even faster. I cannot guarantee that. That would not be right. But I just, especially if you're trying to sponsor other family members, that's really the thing, right? Then that's when you need to consider filing a lawsuit because you're just tired of waiting. Alrighty. It should be a easy freaking button, especially you pass those tests. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I definitely got to go eat lunch and have a team meeting. Y'all have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe and follow for more.